this video we're going to talk about priming 6mm samurai. In this photo you can see three different primer choices I tried out with the Bacchus 6mm Ashigaru spear. On the left I went with my normal gray primer that I typically use for all my miniatures, whether it's between 10mm and 28mm. I tend to go with a gray primer. The middle one you'll see is just a straight up black, completely covered in black. Then the one over on the right hand side is a black with a gray dry brush. Yeah, so I've never done the black with gray dry brush, but read about that and gave it a try. See what that was like. Alright, here we have our final painted up miniatures over the primers. Again, the four on the left are the gray, the middle four are the black, and on the right hand side those are the black with a gray dry brush. So the gray primer miniatures here, you have to paint up all the colors. So there was nothing gray on them. Unlike the black primer, which has, I can use the black primer as the color for the armor and the helmet. So the gray, you have to go through all of them, and you can't just leave any gray showing. So you gotta make sure you cover everything. The black primer worked out well. Was able to see everything and paint up everything the right colors. And again, anything you miss is okay. As the black primer shows some of the detail on that, as well as for the armor and the helmet. You don't have to paint those. The black and gray, I found you end up having to paint all the colors anyways. My technique for the dry brush wasn't that great. I ended up with gray in the folds and in the crevices, so I had to go in there and paint the black in a lot of places. The reason you use the light gray or gray dry brush over the black is so you can see all the details of the miniature you're trying to paint, to make sure you got all the right colors in the right locations. I had no problems seeing all the details when using just the black primer. So I am going to go forward with just a black primer. But a thing I discovered painting up all these miniatures is that, well, maybe a mix of primer is the way to go. Going with like a black primer over the miniature, the soldiers, in this case the Ashigaru, and the weapons in a black, and then using a gray primer for the flag, and the supports on it. This way, depending on I don't have to do multiple coats for some of these flags there, and whereas with the black I was finding it I probably need a second coat. So maybe this is a recommended technique that I'd recommend for you, is using a black primer and then a gray over the flags. I think that would work out pretty well. So that's my recommendation. Go with a black primer if you can see the miniatures fine. You can see all the details. All I can suggest is make sure you have lots of light. In the case of 6mm, yeah, some sort of magnifier. so you can see everything, and then I'd say you're good to go. Otherwise, yeah, go with a dry brush, a light dry brush, so you can, some of those details can pop out. Or if you don't mind a gray primer, you can go with that. But for me, I'm gonna focus in on the black primer and paint these up. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Yeah, I plan to make more videos on these 6mm Samurai. Yeah, show you what I'm coming up with, and yeah, I'll talk about basing probably as well, and yeah, maybe eventually get to see some battle reports and rules and whatnot that I'll be using, and yeah, this was just a post primer showing you what these look like painted up and what I have chosen to go forward with. Okay, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.